Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Chris back with another video, and in today's video, we're going to be discussing the documentary Homecoming, written, directed, and produced by Beyonce, the Queen Bee herself, a motherfucking Beyonce film. Goddamn, goddamn, goddamn! I'm so excited to talk about Beyonce on my channel for the very first time. Yo, I'm juiced. But before we get into that, I just want to say that, and I hate to sound all hipster and stuff like this when I do say this, but I literally have been a Beyonce fan since the inception of Destiny's Child. Destiny's Child came out in 1998, I believe, with their first self-titled album, and literally from that point, I was captivated. Like, no, 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 but like all those songs to me just remind me of a time of such joy. I remember when Beyonce or when Destiny's Child appeared on like Smart Guy and they did No 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 again on the show. Like, I've always loved Destiny's Child. I've always been a huge fan of Beyonce. And my very first CD that I bought with my own money, or period actually, was Survivor. That was my very first. That was my very first album that I bought. So that just I'm a stan. I've never shied away with letting people know that she's my favorite artist of all time. I feel like over the years some people have kind of tried to like shake that and let me waver out of my opinion, and but seeing this Coachella performance just reassured me, and it solidified in what I believe in Beyonce. She's had hits after hits. She's given us so much range. She's given us so much presence. She's given us so much performance. Like, everyone, at least honestly 80 and below, know who Beyonce is. Like, even if you don't know her music, you know her name. And that in itself deserves a motherfucking clap. Like, so I'm really excited to get into this documentary and discuss this film with you guys. I felt really inspired from Beyonce's Homecoming that I decided to wear this little nod to her, this little bright yellow. So you're welcome. I do this for y'all. So the film is a mashup of the 2 weekends that Beyonce performed at Coachella, layered with footage of the rehearsals and the preparation that they did, as well as a beautiful narration by Beyonce. So let's discuss. So I was very aware that Beyonce was performing at Coachella last year, and I did see some clips of her performance at Coachella, specifically when she was dancing to "Gimme Body" with Solange, and of course when Destiny's Child came out, and the highlight of when she opened the show in her like Nefertiti kind of like Egyptian outfit. I had seen all the news articles and I had seen the hype, but I had never seen anything like in its entirety. So me watching this Netflix documentary, a lot of the footage was new to me. I freaking gagged when I had seen like a costume change like halfway through the first song, and then it dawned on me like, oh, she performed at Coachella 2 weekends, so this film is going to be showcasing like a mash up of those two performances, and I was just like, yes, I didn't have to pay a goddamn dollar except for this $10.99, and I get to see both performances in the comfort of my own home. I was like super excited for this Coachella performance because, like I said, I hadn't seen a lot of it. So I felt very blessed that I was able to see both the visuals in its entirety throughout this whole entire performance. I will say I wish I could have gotten more of the two opening outfits that she had. Like I said, the Nefertiti Egyptian outfits. I really do wish we could have seen like at least like a sultry number in it. But even still, I think it did what it needed to do just to kind of like insert herself like, I'm here, I'm queen, and I'm ready to show out. So I watched this film twice. The first time I watched it just to absorb all the greatness that is Beyonce. Second time I watched it to take notes. But in that first time watching it, I was super emotional. I cried about 4 times throughout the 2-hour movie. That's another thing. It's 2 hours of Beyonce, and it's crazy because we were just coming off of Rihanna and Donald Glover's film Guava Island, and that was just a nice super sweet, short 55-minute film, and I was assuming that we were gonna get around the same length for that, but Beyonce said, nah, you about to sit down, you about to eat a motherfucking meal, not a snack, a meal, and take this shit in. So that was dope in itself. But the first time I cried was when Beyonce sang the Black National Anthem. Um, I've always known that song. A lot of black people know that song. To me, it feels kind of like a hidden language. Amanda Seales recently did a bit on her comedy special talking about when black people sing that song in white spaces, that it sounds like black people are kind of like congregating and like plotting. It's really funny, but that song rings true to me so much and has been something I've known and still memorize all the words to since I was a child. So seeing that, and then seeing it on overall this whole entire performance, the amount of blackness that was showcased out was so emotional in such a space like Coachella. I think that's what got me crying so much, because I'd never seen like the Black National Anthem. Where have you seen that showcased in a mainstream audience? Like, so that for me was very emotional. Hearing Beyonce speak outside of her performances was like supper to my mouth. Like, she used to do interviews all the time, but ever since her star has risen, she's kind of retreated a bit and decided to speak to us through her music and her performances, and the type of wardrobe that she wears. She uses that to speak to us, and which is totally fine. You're allowed to have your space and create safety for you and your family. So I was just listening and lingering the whole entire time to every single word that Beyonce was speaking throughout this documentary. She started off her rehearsals with a nice, lovely prayer. She shaded even a little bit and stated that she could have brought out her flower crown, but it was more important to showcase our culture, meaning like our black culture, at such a space as Coachella. Throughout this documentary, we get little clips in between the performances of the rehearsals, of how Beyonce's kind of like psyche throughout this whole entire time. She took 8 months to prepare for this one Coachella showcase, 4 months of preparation with music and 4 months of preparation with dancers, not including just having had twins. So she was also focusing on getting her body back into shape. She is stating that she had to have no dairy, no meat, no sugar, no carbs. I think she was eating air, I'm pretty sure. Like, she was letting us know that she is getting uncomfortable to to showcase her greatness, and that she's dedicated and she's focused, and she was sacrificing a lot, and she was showcasing that in the documentary. I really did love the HBCU spotlight throughout this whole entire performance. I think that's pretty much what sold every single black American who was watching this performance, because HBCUs have been such a cornerstone in black American history, and you don't get to see that propelled into the mainstream that much. I think the last time I've seen something to this magnitude being prepared into the mainstream conscious was Drumline. And these schools have been such a pillar in our history and been so impactful experience for a lot of black Americans in this country. And I think it was just beautiful to show the magic and the genius and what's happening in a lot of these historical black colleges. So now we're going to get into some of the highlights of this documentary. I just want to start off and say that, goddamn, Beyonce's musicality, her rhythm, her precision just to stay and ride the beat is like no other. Like, when she dances and performs, there's not one step or move where I'm like, that didn't belong there, that didn't go there. Everything is just so freaking innovative, so freaking smooth, so freaking swaggy. And like I said, it is always on the beat. Beyonce can ride a beat like nobody's business. But one highlight that I did love was when she went from singing Crazy in Love and she transitioned and turned it around and backed that ass up by Juvenile song. That shit was so gutter to me. Like, I'm gonna show you I could be sexy and glamorous, but I'm gonna show y'all can also twerk, get a little hood, get a little ratchet on it. It ain't no problems. So the other highlight that I really love was when Beyonce was performing Diva, and she was saying her last line is like "No passengers on my plane," and everyone got into like this plane swaggy formation, and then she transitioned to this song that I've never heard of, "Getting to the Money," like, but she was dancing like so much with her thighs and her legs, and then everyone else started to get into the same kind of sharp "Getting to the Money." I never heard that song before, but like I'm gonna jam that shit. I would definitely want to swag out as much as Beyonce was in that part of the performance. So I think what I really did love was how gutter Beyonce got sometimes. I think I've always had a certain image of Beyonce, and I just love, cause I mean, at the end of the day, she's from Houston. She's from Houston, Texas. Like, how is that not inbred in you? Like, for those of us who lived in the hood, even though we're not street people, like that's inbred in us. That's in part of our culture. Like, how does that not come out every once in a while? And I think a lot of the highlights that I have probably were moments where Beyonce was just showing her gutterness, her griminess, like. It was really refreshing for Beyonce to also talk about her pregnancy and how difficult it was. She said that she had high blood pressure and that at one point one of the twins skipped a heartbeat, and because of that she had to have a C-section. Um, and a lot of people, you can tell that there was sadness in that. A lot of people don't speak about like the really difficulties of pregnancy. I think pregnancy gets glorified a lot, and I think Beyonce was just saying that like shit is difficult. And I love that she then even stated after that though that she is always in a constant battle of trying to find a balance of being a mother and being present in her children's life, because family is who she puts first as her priority. So just being able to listen to Beyonce be vulnerable and speak about things that she worries about, speak on things that she struggles with, was also refreshing, because we constantly like glorify Beyonce, kind of put her on a pedestal. She's our queen, rightfully so, but we also have to be reminded us, and that's what she was doing, that like I'm also a human being with a range of emotions, and I have family, and I want love, and I want joy even outside of this music and outside of my fans. And that's a good reminder to have when you're that big of a celebrity, that like I'm just human too, and I got shit I gotta take care of outside of paying these bills. Another highlight that I had was Beyonce singing Takeoff. I think she had 6 male line step dancers behind her. I just love their movement. I honestly think with a lot of male dancing, there is a bit of a limitation because of men being afraid of their femininity and being able to lean into that a little bit. And there was just a certain style that the men were dancing where I felt like it felt very uninhibited. It felt very free. Like, and I feel like we don't get to see black men moving in such manner. And I think we could use more of that, seeing black men being able to move freely and express themselves as such. And so that was really that was a highlight for me. The baton swirler as well was super swaggy, very athletic. I don't think I've ever seen a baton swirler like that perform to that level. So much skill, also so much precision. Beyonce did a great job of highlighting other women. She had like another cymbal major also highlighted towards the end of the performance, and then she also brought out two big girl dancers dancing with her. You know, I think it was the same dancers from the original Greenlight video. I'm not sure. I didn't research that, but she was highlighting a lot of black women in this video. So we get back to the narration of Beyonce, and in that she states that she's the very first African-American woman to headline Coachella, and in this performance on stage she wants to create the space where black women feel limitless, that a lot of times that black women are put into a box and they are underestimated, and that she wanted to create a space of freedom and safety. And that's all black people want sometimes, is to not have to struggle about where their next meal is going to come from or how they're going to pay their bills, and just feel free and safe. That's all our liberation is about. A next highlight that I enjoyed was when Beyonce was performing "Don't Hurt Yourself." That is such a rock classic song. So much energy, so much disdain and disgust in it, and needing to like check somebody. I love the energy of that song. I really love towards the end of the song where Beyonce starts to like just headbanging, and then in the back you get a clip of her orchestra and her backup singers just headbanging as well. And this imagery to me was so important because you don't see this enough. Like a lot of times, we're not a monolith. Like black people enjoy all different kinds of musics and different forms of entertainment. Like you see right now with the whole yeehaw agenda that like black people have love country music, love cowboy culture, have been into that shit, but what's presented into the media or a lot of times is what's stereotyped onto us and even by our own is that we only can listen and be R&B music or hip hop or rap. Like I constantly hear black people all the time when they walk into rooms or certain spaces and rap or R&B isn't playing. They're like, "What is this? This white people shit?" And it's like, no, this is the shit that was created by us and then stowed. Like, just sit back and digest it and enjoy it. And if you don't like it, shut the fuck up. But like, I'm not gonna limit myself, and neither should you guys, of what kind of music you enjoy just because of your skin color and what type of things that black people consume now. Like I said, we're not a monolith, and that's also very limiting in our culture. If I'm only into one thing, it would be a shame for me not to grow, right? Beyonce's hairography throughout this performance in Coachella was on point. Like every time she whipped her hair, and I thought I was losing her face, she would snap her neck and say, "I'm still here." I was like, damn, girl, like, I don't think she gets, if she does get enough credit, I'm going to keep giving her more credit because Beyonce is literally the queen of hair. I mean, people say all the time, I'm my Beyonce fan. Like, she is like literally the queen of standing still and having flowing gorgeous hair at all times. Beyonce states in this documentary that she personally picked every single dancer, all the lights, all the material, the height of the stage. Like she was bragging, and black women don't get a chance to brag enough. Like it's always constantly being told to be humble. Like you could show off. At one point, towards the end of the performance, Beyonce is at the top of the stage and she says, "I want to thank Coachella for allowing me to be the first African American woman to headline Coachella," followed by, "Ain't that about a bitch?" Which to me was saying that while she is so grateful and very deserving to be headlining Coachella, that there have been plenty of black women that came before her that were just as worthy and deserving to headline Coachella as well. And then she even stated, "I wanted to thank all those black women who have come before her." So it was great commentary of like kind of breaking the wall too. Like hopefully I'm not the last Coachella. So the Destiny's Child performance was great. Their camo outfits that they had reminded me of Survivor and Soldier. The sparkly ones they had were very kind of like grown and glamorous, but still hella sexy. Was I the only one that was worried that Michelle was gonna fall off the conveyor belt? I ain't even gonna lie. My eye was on her, unfortunately, not because she was captivating me, which she did a great job. Kelly and Michelle showed out. But just because I know that she clumsy and I'm clumsy, so I could relate. So that's what my concern was, from one clumsy to another clumsy. But she didn't. She showed out, and it was just the amount of a guest performance that we needed from those two. It was lovely to see the ladies. And I just constantly love the way Beyonce highlights Kelly and Michelle. Like she's very appreciative and grateful of those two ladies. And let's not pretend that like Kelly and Michelle aren't talented. Beyonce realizes that she wouldn't be where she is if she didn't have those other two ladies by her side, contributing to her career as well. So, and Solange's cameo was so cute. She came out and danced to the extended version of "Get Me Bodied." She didn't even say anything. She didn't need to say anything. Like the love and joy for that Beyonce and Solange have for each other is so apparent. It's so there. it really reminds me and my younger brother. Like, we grew up in the same household, but we have very different personalities and different interests. But we could get together and still have a good ass time. And you see that so much with Solange. And when I was watching the performance, I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop looking at Solange, and I also was peeping game. Like, is this Fringe and Boots? Like, she was already giving us a preview of what she was gonna give us with her recent album When I Get Home. But it was a joy watching Solange hop out on stage with her big sis, and just it was more so like a support to me that I was seeing with Solange showing up on stage. And at the end of the documentary, Beyonce decided to leave us with one more gift. She released a new single called Before I Let Go, which is a rendition of the Maze and Frankie Beverly version. And I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying that, like, this is a great song for summer, and a lot of people are going to be playing this at the cookouts, and I'm sure this is going to start a bunch of electric slides all summer long. And I agree. I'll even add that this is going to be a great road trip song, a great song that you're going to really be able to roll down your windows to and just jam the fuck out. It kind of has like this go-go dancing, kind of reminds me of Get Me Body, kind of twist to it. And then just Beyonce's angelic voice. You just can't help but want to like smile and just groove a little bit to the song. And so, damn, she already gave us enough with the Coachella performance and showing us the rehearsals and Be More Vulnerable. And she said, you guys been so good to me. Here's dessert. Beyonce, to me, is such an example of what hard work, perseverance, focus, and discipline creates. Like, yeah, it's not gonna always be glamorous. It's not easy. It's not gonna be always nice. It's not gonna be fun. You're gonna get mad. You're gonna cry. But you're gonna prevail and triumph when you walk in your greatness. Like, it gave me chills. It moved me. It made me so proud. It made me motivated to want to do shit and make shit happen. Beyonce just showed her ass out throughout this whole 2-hour documentary. I'm so grateful to live in a time where Beyonce like exists, and I get to be surrounded by her greatness and enjoy all of her glory. I loved it. I love Beyonce so much. Let me know what you guys think of this discussion and highlights in the comments. Did you guys watch? If you did, what did you think of Homecoming? If you didn't, can you please go watch it? It's on Netflix. I know a lot of y'all niggas got Netflix. If not, I know one of your cousins got it, and you're probably using it anyway. So it's there, it's available, ready to stream now. Please go watch it. Honestly, even if you are not a Beyonce fan, you will appreciate her hustle and respect the gangster that she is. All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye.